Hello, dear Astro friends. It's Melanie here with the video for the week. It's Monday evening, so here comes the Astro weather for the week starting tomorrow, the 25th of April, and going until Monday, May the 1st, which is Beltane. Yes, we are approaching Beltane, the center of spring, the center of Taurus. Everything is in full bloom, at least here on the West Coast, and spring has really settled in and comes to our delight, and we are hopefully much more grounded and an enjoyable place, especially as it's warming up as well. So, yes, we can take a breather and relax from all the rush, also the rush that's been building up to the solar eclipse, which was a hybrid total and annular eclipse, depending where you where the it would have been seen on the eclipse path, and that was on the 19th or 20th of April on the very last degree of Aries last week. Lots of us have felt a total relief after this eclipse, and more will process in the weeks to come. It happened on the settling point from Aries to Taurus. What does that mean? That can mean you have found again your place in the world, feeling more grounded, having arrived back in your body where there is also your freedom, which is what Uranus in Taurus says, your freedom, your joy. And in contrast to the South Node in Scorpio, where we are being pulled a lot into dark rabbit holes these days, and shadow, which can be really important to process, but we just shouldn't get stuck there and turn these bad feelings and dark modes against ourselves. Really needs balancing, just like the Buddha being rooted in the swamp of the lotus blossom, but also sitting on the lotus and finding calm again, calm in the storm, calm in all these emotional turmoil prone states. Hopefully you have found your calm, found your joy through this eclipse that has been also a seed eclipse, planting new seeds of springy enjoyment and groundedness in our body and standing our ground. Also, you might be aware, it's not quite here yet, but coming, Jupiter goes into Taurus on the 16th of May and will meet the North Node quite swiftly, or soon after that. So much more of this Taurian energy wants to bring us into our senses and into our common sense. More about that soon. What's up for this week? So yes, we're building up for Beltane, and Beltane, there will be two alignments, one shift, one alignment. I get to that in a second. Before that, we have in this week the moon now waxing from Cancer today. So since today, Monday noon, until Wednesday afternoon, the moon is in Cancer. So all day tomorrow, Tuesday, and until almost midnight on Wednesday, 11:30 p.m. Pacific, the moon will be in Cancer, in her own abode, where it's all about home, about belonging, about sweet self-care and care of all whom and what you love. So yes, beautiful to be in this gentleness now, and tuning into our needs, into our feelings after so much mental activity on the weekend. It's been quite wild. My life too, with work especially in this case, but also visits. And that was super Gemini after the eclipse, Moon in Gemini in square with Saturn first and then with Neptune. So hopefully you could ride those waves and didn't get overwhelmed and can now relax into more caring place. And then the moon goes into Leo while the sun is in Taurus, which means there'll be a half moon soon. That will be on Thursday, Friday, Thursday evening, Thursday afternoon, half moon, moon in Leo, sun in Taurus. That's quite a passionate energy, and it's also gonna warm up here temperature wise. The heat is on here on the west coast, and that all sounds like fun to me. So at the same time, on the 27th, Mars in Cancer will be in square with Chiron in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And then shortly afterwards, on the 29th, Mars will be in sextile with Uranus in Taurus. So this is all about, again, finding the medicine of being authentic, tuning into your feelings, being also caring about others and being present. While also perhaps with Mars in Cancer, being protective of who or what could use your care and your caring protection. Tuning into what you feel and going by what helps you be in freedom. So Mars sextile Uranus in Taurus, which could mean literally being in nature, feeling good in your skin, doing what brings joy to your senses, and also helps you be relaxed, at ease, and at home on planet Earth and in this beauty and abundance of spring. Then on May 1st, getting to May 1st, Mercury, now in full swing, in full retro swing, will be at its halfway point. Mercury is retro in Taurus, has been retro since April 21st and goes until Mother's Day on May 14th retrograde. So it's the typical 3 weeks of retro that will meet their halfway point when Mercury meets the Sun in backward motion from Earth perspective. So Mercury will then, from May 1st on, pass from our vantage point behind the Sun. Mercury has been ahead of the Sun. And the whole point of Mercury retro in a way is to bring Mercury, in other words, bring the mind, the monkey mind, the ever so active mind, which was super activated with the moon in Gemini on the weekend, which is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury was just freshly retro, so lots going on. And at the same time, this a busy monkey mind has to be like at a rodeo. I like to use that example. Like a wild horse has to be lassoed in and follow spirit, consciousness, the heart, as Mercury passes behind the Sun. And that also means after the Epimethean phase, where we're in now, the first half of Mercury retro, before Mercury goes retro in the first half. Epimethean phase is very retro, means like we're going into old stories a lot, old mental patterns, but also it's really cool to connect with people from the past and reconnect with unfinished business, which is good to deal with. But from that point on, when Mercury and the Sun meet on the 1st of May, we're going to the Promethean phase. Prometheus is the being in mythology who brought the fire to humanity, the liberating fire, the fire of spirit, the fire that made humans free. And yeah, the gods had monopolized the fire, right? So it was considered sacrilege or hubris to claim the fire and the privilege of the gods for all of humanity to have the tools that bring light and warmth, but also bring enlightenment. And Uranus was punished for that, considered a rebel, considered a renegade, and a challenger to the system and to the elite of the gods. So, but at the same time, Uranus eventually, with that version of the story I like to tell, was set free by Chiron, who was a wounded healer and was also with the gods, but recognized that he himself could not heal himself in a certain predicament, and acknowledged that everyone needs to have access to the gifts of the gods, including to healing. And that set Uranus free. So, sorry, that set Prometheus free. And Prometheus in mythology is related to the archetype of the planet Uranus. So the planet Uranus is now in Taurus, and this is Taurus season. So it's all about embodying freedom. And we've seen a lot of that notion, a lot of that struggle also, and disruption of freedom, disruption of stability, disruption of joy and comfort in the last few years. So things come up again with this Mercury retro having started its retro journey very close to Uranus. So it's a lot about freedom, it's a lot about joy. And yes, also on top of it, the Promethean phase of Mercury retrograde starts on May 1st. So, and the Promethean phase is after the Epimethean phase. Now it's about, or from May 1st on, it will be about forward thinking, about visions, about taking all this process that happened in our minds with the first half of Mercury retro, realizing what the mind does and how we can come back from the mind to the heart and come back to spirit, to consciousness, maybe having some breakthroughs, and being not letting the mind be the master, but be a servant to spirit and to the heart. And then on May 1st, what's also in the making is Pluto, now freshly in Aquarius, which is again also ruled by Uranus. So there's a real theme here coming from different sides. Pluto in early Aquarius goes retrograde. Pluto goes retrograde once a year for about 5 months, and that will be this time May 1st till October 10th. And as Pluto goes retrograde, it will go back into Capricorn. Pluto is just barely in Aquarius. And this year started on March 27th. Pluto went for the first time into Aquarius and will be only until June the 11th in Aquarius, when it goes in retro motion back into Capricorn. So there's still unfinished business there in Capricorn. And this Capricorn journey continues through the rest of the year, as Pluto will be then already going forward from October 10th on, and then for the second time go into Aquarius on January 20th, 2024. And that will be also not the final entry into Aquarius. only, so to say, that time for longer until September 3rd. And then back into Capricorn again until November 19th, I believe, 17th, 19th. And from that time on, fully in Aquarius. So these 2 years, 2023, 2024, are transition years for Pluto into Aquarius. And that is also a marker, one of the markers that we are transitioning into the Aquarius age. Not the only marker, but really an important one. And so now, we're really shifting out of the old empire, of the old modus operandi, the old top-down stuff, top-down control and authority situation, and into more egalitarian and even parallel structures and new systems and new community building. But of course, we also see the shadow of what Aquarius can represent. It's not all fantastic rainbows, unicorns, utopia, but there can be also dystopia associated with Aquarius. Technocratic takeover, the technological dominance of the world and of humanity. Humanity as we know it, humanity is ruled by Aquarius, can change and can end in this way, in this model, and can become very technocratically modified and dominated. So we want to avoid this, and Pluto retrograde can help us, can show us what the shadow of Aquarius could be, and how can we take our power back and our humanity back and be in our intrinsic soul power. Because humanity means also to be soulful, and technology and technocracy is not very soulful. So the soul is our power. And I leave it with this note, this time a shorter and hopefully punchy and clear astro weather video. See you again next week when we are maybe on May 1st, literally. It's for the following week that starts on May the 2nd, because my weeks here go from Tuesday to Monday for some reason. And that will include the partial or penumbral, I should say, lunar eclipse full moon in Scorpio Taurus, which is also the full moon of the Buddha, the Vesak moon, on May the 5th. We're not quite there yet, so stay tuned, and wishing you a beautiful, sunny, and joyous and warm week. And see you again soon. Take care. Bye.